everyone. I'm Andrew with Jesani Wealth Management. And the velocity of money from an economical analysis is really looking at the number of times a currency changes hands within an economy during a certain time period. Very, very different than what I'm going to talk about today, which is the velocity of money as related to investments. Now, the basic principle behind the velocity of money is that money laying idle dies over time. Time and inflation eats away at the value of money. So let's kind of make an assumption. Let's say the US does a really great job, gets inflation under control, and over the next 10 years, inflation averages 2% per year. And I had $100,000. Well, at the end of that 10-year period, my $100,000 would be worth 18.3% less. That's at 2% per year. Since 1960 until 2021, we're actually averaging 3.8% per year, almost double that. And we all know that. And that's why we invest in the stock market. We invest in fixed income. We invest in private credit or the bond markets, whatever we're doing to park our money and let it grow. But when it comes to the velocity of money, you're exponentially increasing that by getting a return of your principal from an investment while keeping the investment and then reinvesting that principal in another investment. So you're taking your money out, essentially playing with the house's money, reinvesting into a new investment, and then, of course, doing the same thing over and over again. So you're basically leveraging your original investment amount multiple times over, typically in income producing assets. So it might be best to kind of use an example. It's very easy to do and common in both real estate, LLCs, real estate syndication, and private equity, which are all parts of our multidimensional asset allocation. So let's use real estate for an example. And I'm a real estate investor, and I find an apartment complex that costs $1 million. So I want to buy that as an investment. So I put $200,000 of my own money in, and I finance the other $800,000. I buy that apartment complex for $1 million. I then do a value add, which is going to increase your potential to move your money out quickly, and you'll see how in a moment. But then I invest another $100,000 to improve the property, fix up the apartments. So now I can charge a little bit more rent, and I've increased the value of that property to 1.3, 1.4 million. I have $300,000 of my own money in, and then of course I still have the mortgage for $800,000. I then can go out and refinance that property for $1.1 million. Remember, we've increased the value by the value add, so it's at least worth that. Of course, I can pay off my $800,000 mortgage and keep the remaining $300,000, which I can then go turn around and put into another investment. And I'm still keep the property at the value that I've increased it to, and I'm generating the income from that property. So that's a good explanation or example of the velocity of money in using that return of your principal to reinvest while still keeping the initial investment. The same principle can be done in private equity or LLCs or private companies, simply through, again, going in, you purchase the company, you're financing it, you're leveraging that financing, of course, taking it out via a special dividend, and then reinvesting that into another private company. But when you look at the overall return over time, when you're using the velocity of money and leveraging a certain amount of funds, the returns increase exponentially. And this is how the very wealthy and institutions are able to significantly grow their wealth. They're not investing in stocks or bonds. They're using private assets, private equity, private real estate, LLC corporations, where they can pull their money out and play with the house's money while still being able to grow and get the rewards or the income or the capital gains from that investment. So there are certain ways that we do this for our clients through some of the channels that I just mentioned. If you'd ever like to know more detail, just reach out to me. It's Andrew at Jesani Wealth Management, and I can be reached at 954-800-8552. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.